First of all, I want to say peace to Baba TV. It's my pleasure to be on here. It's my first time actually on Baba's platform. I love this brother, man. He's doing great work in the community, so I salute him. And I definitely plan to be in the house August the 13th. Black people coming together, 5 fingers making a fist, standing up, and despite our differences, being able to come together and talk as brothers, man. It's unprecedented in the community. People said it could not be done, but it's getting done August the 13th. Make sure y'all brothers and sisters come out and support, but come out in the spirit of love. Don't come out there trying to debate everybody that you see and argue, but come out in the spirit of love and unity, and let's talk about things that unite us, that can move us forward as a community. That's the key. You know what I'm saying? So peace out to Baba TV. I'm saying I respect the work you're doing. And by the way, man, I got my man Garfield right here. You know what I'm saying? Just to show y'all that it's all love. We disagree with each other, but it's all love, man. We out here building, you know what I'm saying? Dropping our doctrines on each other, comparing and contrasting, but at the end of the day, we walk away, man, and we brothers. So that's what it's all about, man, in 2017, going forward, because nobody loves us, so we gotta love ourselves. And with that, I say peace.
Peace, Black family. This is your brother Reggie on the streets of Harlem, rocking with Baba TV, one of the best out here. I just got finished talking to our brother Law Abba. We had a good conversation. What he came out here to do is deal with an article that I wrote with Dr. Jahi Issa on Reparations is Dead, How Do We Resurrect It? This article is hitting the national behind the scenes, but first you got to go to the Black Agenda Report and look at Reparations is Dead, How Do We Resurrect It? The information that myself and Dr. Jahi Issa is putting out is a game changer. One of the things that we're doing is we're looking at reparations. How the case for reparations was lost. Now, the case for reparations that people do not know is the Deirdre Pelman farmer versus the Deirdre farmer Pelman versus a bank. I'll think of it in a second. And this case went to the appellate court, and Judge Posner dismissed most of the causes of action for this particular case. And with that, set a new precedent on how reparation cases will be looked at in the future. And what basically this Judge Posner is doing, he's very slick though. He's saying that you now have to associate victims with the defendants, and you also have to show harm. There's another important part of this is that there is something called tolling, meaning even if the defendants did harm to the victims, that over a 150-year time period, that the victims and their descendants have no right in court. Now, in order to defeat this, we have to use a model that myself and Dr. Jahi Issa created in this paper, Reparations is Dead, How to Resurrect It. At the same time, the European is saying that we do not have rights because of the tolling, that the victim has no rights. The defendants, or the people who did the actions, they continue to make profit and they have rights. So unfortunately, the Pelman farmer case did not make this argument. The other part of this thing that is really significant is that from you gotta listen to me closely on this one, right? From 1776 to 1807 was the time period where the transatlantic slave trade was legal. 1776 to 1807. That's only roughly a 41-year period. The other part that you have to understand is that slavery in the United States from 1776 to the Civil War was in fact legal. As much as we don't like it, it was legal in the laws. I'm not saying it wasn't immoral. I'm not saying it wasn't a crime against humanity. I'm not saying it wasn't a crime against the African. I'm saying in American law it was legal. But from 1776 to 1807, they were only allowed to take slaves from Africa. From 1807 to the end of the Civil War, what me and Dr. Issa are saying is that they took African nationals and internationally trafficked African nationals and labeled them as slaves as if they were already here doing several things at one time. One thing that they were in fact doing was denying the status of the African. But the more important thing that they was doing was these states and their instruments, their corporations. Hey, brother, go out for a piece.
Yo, y'all gotta start paying for this guy's information, man. Get y'all coins up.
Yeah, support Brother Garfield. But what you have to understand is that these states and their instruments conspired against the United States to break the federal law in 1807 called the Prohibition Against the Transatlantic Slave Trade. So that we have states and their instruments acting as criminals. Now, these states and these states acting as criminals with their instruments are becoming super rich. Now, one of the important things that we say is that from 1776 to 1807, which is 41 years, there were only 1 million African captives in the United States. But from 1807 to the Civil War, they end up with 4 million African slaves. What we're doing is we're breaking the happy slave model. They want us to believe that the 1 million slaves or people that they, African nationals that they had prior, produced 4 million slaves at the end of the Civil War in a 50-year period of time. Now, because we are not looking at this as human trafficking, we are making lots of mistakes. So, this is a new paradigm of thinking, because anytime that we argue slavery, we will lose. What we are arguing now is African human trafficking, or human trafficking of African nationals. Because at no time did we give up our sovereignty. At no time did we give up our rights, and that we had unalienable rights coming in, even though the states, the federal government, and their instruments was denying us inalienable rights. So it is now up to us now to do a different type of research. So I'm just saying, anything that I'm also saying, believe it or not, that the African human trafficking caused the Civil War. The African human trafficking actually caused the Revolutionary War. That the Jim Crow and the new Jim Crow is about managing the African national. The United States has never ever construed our rights like they did with the Native Americans, like they do with other groups against the Constitution. So we have an obligation now to fight for ourselves as African nationals, or nationals coming from the continent of Africa. So Brother Law Abba came here to have a conversation with Dr. Issa, who is my co-author, right? But what we're saying is that everybody, Michelle Alexander, Ta-Nehisi Coates, anybody doing a reparations bill, like the Assemblyman Charles Barron, or like the Honorable John Conyers, and all of us have to retool our thinking on the matter of reparations. Now, this is groundbreaking research. You can go to the Black Agenda Report. You can hear our arguments as me and Dr. Issa presented. We're presenting our arguments to some of the elite intellectuals in Black America, right? And it is breaking new ground. It is breaking the old rules. So that's all I have right now. I'm happy always to be on Baba TV. Me and Dr. Issa will be presenting in several places, and we're hoping to have a town hall meeting on this matter in Washington, D.C. or in Louisiana. Yes.
Now,
we gonna get him a DNA test today.
so if the reparations do go through, how would the reparations be paid? Like, would it be institutions or money, or like how would that be given back?
My question, good brother, what's your name, brother, for the audience?
Jack Kim.
First of all, what we are saying is that the United States is the biggest human trafficker, right? This is not necessarily about money, because we are the money of the United States. The United States dollar is backed by our labor, the taxes, the income that we provide. What we need in this country is the ability to make ourselves capital for our people. The laws in the United States is based on this big myth that we were enslaved, that finally they freed us, they did a good thing, but still, while we were being super exploited, they was enriching themselves. So to the point that we have no land, right? There is, across 110th Street, there's not an African that owns a building. Across 110th Street, all the way down to the end of the island. We have been super exploited and super disenfranchised. So the first step is to charge America and their states as conspiring against their own federal law for the enrichment of themselves. Now, as an African, they are still extracting tax dollars from you. Income taxes, state taxes, federal taxes, right? So they're still super exploiting us. They're building prisons to house us. The fact of the matter is that we have not had a methodology to show that how could a criminal use laws when they are a criminal enterprise. So that there you go. So the question is right now it's not about the money. First of all, it's about $1 billion of education that we have to reorientate ourselves to understand that we are African nationals captured, right, and enslaved for the purposes of enslavement and forced labor to super exploitate us. So that's the answer. That's the short answer to your question.
Okay. Thank you. That's about it. That's what I wanted to know.
All right. But does what I say sound reasonable, feasible?
It does sound
does
reasonable.
It understand that if America created a law in 1807 to not import Africans, right? Exactly. How did they end up with 4+ million Africans at the end of the Civil War, right?
Yeah.
And these are saltwater Africans.
Slavery was still going down.
Well, the human trafficking.
Well, human trafficking, yes.
And then enslaving us.
It was slavery, yeah.
But also, it was also for forced labor because other things was happening. It's not the United States, when we look at human trafficking, it's not the United States that we're looking at. We're looking at Cuba, we're looking at Puerto Rico, we're looking at the rest of the Caribbean, we're looking at South America, right? We're looking at African human trafficking is a bigger picture than slavery, right? Because it's about super exploitation, using us as the engine for their machine. That's correct. Yes. And so it's a bigger, wider picture, and it's Pan-Africanism. I'm giving our people a model in which they can apply to Pan-Africanism in, because we were all human trafficking. It does not matter if I was a slave in America, enslaved in America, or you was enslaved in Jamaica or anywhere. We make that the issue, We don't make the issue that we all came through this human trafficking, and that these wars were fought to control the system. So, pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure.
Shout out to Baba TV, where you get
Baba TV. Every time fight.
the reason why I like Baba TV is that sometimes I can just express myself without, in short, right, as news. Because what we do is real news, real history. This is what we do. And the other people, they do fake news, recycle news, and they take other people's news. So shout out to Baba TV, and shout out to the partner channel, Sonetta TV, Black News 102. Peace.